Hello and welcome to HealthyHouseplants.com, where we teach you all about gardening in the great indoors. If you'd like to support our show, please use our Amazon affiliate link below. Today I'm going to answer a question from a viewer, Crystal Lynn Ortiz, who asked how to prevent your houseplants from being attacked by pests and diseases. So there's a few things that you can do, a few things to keep in mind. The first thing is to buy from a really good provider of plants, so a nursery, somewhere where they know plants, they know how to take care of plants is a better place. Now, that's not to say you can't get some from a big box store or a big home and garden center, but just be careful when you get some from those places, because it's not always your fault if a plant starts to go downhill within a month or two. Plants are slow to react, so keep that in mind. Plants are also slow to show pests and diseases. They may have been treated prior to you getting them for the pest or disease, and then it comes back again. So that's where getting them from a good grower place in the first place is important. It's also important to when you're doing that, to buy house plants that have been taken good care of by the grower and that are already healthy to begin with, right? So I have a video on that coming out too, on how to choose healthy houseplants, and I've done different videos on that and talked about that as well. So choosing a healthy houseplant from the very beginning, right? Quarantining your houseplant when you first get them, I have a video on that as well. That is a really good thing to do, because you can see if it has a problem before it spreads it to all your other plants too. So I would advise doing that. 4 to 6 weeks of quarantining will show you if a plant has a pest or a disease before you put it with the rest of your plants. Okay, so say now you've got the plants with all your other plants and you want to know, okay, what do I do to keep them from getting pests and diseases in general? One of the things you want to keep in mind is that pests are attracted to decaying foliage on your plant, okay? So that is their job. Pest jobs generally are to break down decaying foliage, and so that it can be basically recycled into the soil, and then that will feed the plant. That's how things happen out in nature. So pests, there's really good reason for pests out in nature, because they keep things in balance. They keep the decaying matter under control, right? So, however, in your house, you don't necessarily want those pests. And pests, as you've probably noticed when you've had pests, most likely you have since you're watching this video, they can go really crazy in your indoor garden very quickly, because there aren't any other predators for them. There's no other bugs and things like that, other insects that would prey on them and eat them to keep them in check. So what you want to do is make sure that you keep off dead and dying foliage as much as possible. So even this palm here named Marco, he doesn't have much, but I am going to remove what little he does have. So that way there's nothing in terms of targeting. The pests aren't going to be targeting that dead and decaying matter, which are the leaves, foliage, if you will, that the pests would normally go to first, okay? So I think I got a lot of that. Now, and then obviously what happens is when you don't have any of that, then of course they're going to go for your good leaves then, right? So other ways to keep them from doing that. You want to keep them watered correctly. It's really important not to let them dry out and not to overwater them. Overwatering them will lead to root rot very quickly. So there's a really easy way to prevent root rot, and that is to water correctly. In terms of underwatering, that will weaken the plants, and the weaker the plant is, the more chances you're going to have of the pests and diseases coming to feast on that plant. It's a survival of the fittest sort of a thing that goes on. Another thing that goes on automatically outdoors. A weakening plant signifies that things should come in and eat it to do so that it can break it down, so that a new plant can take its place. Well, once again, you have more of a simulated situation indoors. You are Father or Mother Nature, so you're creating your own little microcosm, microclimate in your house, right? So it's different in here. So you definitely want to keep the plants strong as possible, and proper watering is like one of the top things for that. Also, proper lighting. The plants need adequate light to be okay. That's really, really critical. If you do not have enough light for your plants will begin to falter. Once they start to falter, once again, the pests are like, there we go, look at that, it's starting to go downhill, let's go eat it. So that's another thing to keep in mind is a proper lighting, really important. If you do not have bright enough light in your home for your houseplants, use full spectrum lighting. Full spectrum light bulbs come in many different sizes. They go in just about any fixture. You can also get full spectrum fixtures as well, special lights that you want to get the light as close to the top, not too close to the top of the plant where it would burn, but you want it above the plant. So depending on the size of the plant, the bigger the plant, the further away you're going to be. But so say if I'm going to put full spectrum on Marco here, I would go up about 6 to 8 inches and have the light up. That would be ideal for him. I do have some light that he is in a window where he gets enough light, but if I needed to do that, that's what I do. So adequate lighting, really important. Watering as mentioned. Also nutrients. So keeping them strong with nutrients. So if you're watering correctly, as long as you're watering correctly, they've got enough light, and then it's really important to also give them nutrients. You don't want to give an ailing plant nutrients, because that is nutrients are like vitamins. So nutrients don't make a plant grow. Lighting makes a plant grow. Proper lighting makes a plant grow. The plants photosynthesize, and that's where they get their energy. So that energy is what makes them grow. Nutrients give them the fertilizer gives them nutrients to grow even more healthy and to continue growing. So you want to make sure your lighting and your watering is under control first before you start fertilizing. But when you do have all your ducks in a row here, by proper fertilizing so the plant doesn't get nutrient deficient, that's another way to keep the plant really healthy, really robust, and it will fend off the pests and diseases as well, in particular the pests. And I do have a fertilizer. I have pumice, which is good for drainage, and I do have my Green Gourmet fertilizer too. The pumice is good for having good drainage, and that will help you prevent getting root rot. And then the Green Gourmet, it is an organic, very gentle, but it has a lot of really good ingredients in it, like worm castings, which is something else you can add to your plant to keep your plant healthy. I do have some videos on worm castings. Worm castings actually have components in them that help plants fend off pests and diseases. So that's another really good thing to add to your soil as well. And then this is what it looks like, and then this is in the bag, of course. So that gives you an idea of some different ways that you can keep your plant healthy, so that you can keep pests away from your plant. Now, will you still get some pests? Yes, you will. And then you can use some of the natural remedies, but also effective remedies. I have videos, and I'm doing more videos on the different pests. But to start from the beginning, to keep them as healthy as possible, these are some really good things to keep in mind, and this will help plants. And you may find that a plant that's very healthy starts to get a little bit of a pest, you get rid of it, and it's gone. And the reason it's gone is because the plant is already healthy. So it's kind of like when a healthy person starts to get a little sick, but then their immune system fends it off, right? And then they're fine. So it's the same sort of concept with your houseplants. So that is some tips there for you on keeping your plants healthy and happy. and pest and disease free. Thank you for stopping by today. Please leave any comments about any indoor gardening tutorials you'd like to see. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. And please check the bell if you'd like to be notified when new videos are released.